So pack up those bindles and enjoy the show.
Welcome. Yes. Welcome to the Bindle Variety Show featuring art, music, and improv. My name is Tony Antifa Torrico, and I am your host. Thank you so much for tuning into tonight's show. Wherever you might be watching on your couch while we're on your TV. You might be watching from your car, and if so, watch it. This is only our second episode of the Bindle, so if you're joining us again, thank you so much for joining us again. But if this is your first time tuning into the Bindle, welcome aboard. Here is how tonight's show is going to go. Tonight, we have invited 3 guest artists to join us and share their art with you and discuss their work and process. You might even have questions for our guests, and if you do, put those in the chat and we might ask them during our show. But that is not all. No, babies. While our guests are sharing their work, our improvisers will be watching and listening to everything. And at the very end of the show, they will create some long-form improv inspired from everything they saw tonight. It is going to be an awesome night of art, inspiration, creation, and we are so glad that you could join us here tonight. Now, these shows are made possible because of the generous donations of you, our audience. That's right. You are the reason we're around and the reason that we produce shows every Friday and Saturday night. So to make a donation to us, you can head to Venmo and send any donation to @FancyHoboImprov. That's @FancyHoboImprov. Don't forget the improv, because Fancy Hobo is just somebody else. But we accept all of our donations on Venmo. Will you be our top donor tonight? God, I hope so. Also, please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channels. It is a great way to support us and get us closer and closer to reaching our goals. I think we can get some brand new subscribers tonight. So hit that subscribe button. Thank you again for joining us tonight. I am incredibly excited. Now, before we get to our guests, let's introduce our players for the night. Put those hands together and show some love in the comments for Brandon Burns.
Hello.
Give it up for Brenan Dwyer.
Hello, all my adoring fans.
Gabi Galloway.
Hello, all of Brennan's adoring fans.
And Matt Thomas.
Hello, that one guy.
You know who you are, Richard. Players. How you doing? How you doing tonight?
Doing good, feeling
Real good.
That's good. That's good. Before we get into our guests, we are going to briefly discuss our theme for the night. Yes, every single Bindle show, we do have a theme that we discuss throughout the night. And tonight's theme is your voice. Oh yeah, there it is. It's yours out there, folks. It's yours. A mysterious and illustrious topic indeed. Your voice. What does it mean to know your voice? What does it mean to use your voice? And what role does your voice play in your art, in your life? These are big questions. Players, we're going to start with you. Let's start with Brandon.
I think my voice is something I'm always discovering, especially kind of like finishing up with college and starting that process of like going out into the quote unquote real world. It's something that I think for a long time you kind of don't feel as your own and is made up of other people's voices. So I think it's taken a long time for me to start to listen to my own. And I think a lot of it's just kind of being okay with messing up and not being correct in the moment and taking time to discover it, because it's never going to be known and my voice is never going to be the same as it is tomorrow. And I'm learning to be okay with that. And in my art, I think it's just a matter of what I think my voice is something that speaks to me. And like, whether it be improv or a play, like, if I feel like if I'm connected to it from something I've gone through in the past, or I see my friends or my family or a moment reflected back, I think my voice always tells me to kind of go after those things.
Wow, very nicely put. Very nicely put. It obviously plays a big role in all of our work. Gabi, what about you?
Well, as one of my college professors says, the great John Hawke, he says, nothing that you do is original. And I believe that. But I'm saying that once you are taking in great art, the way it fuels through yourself is your own voice. So I'm not saying you don't have a voice. I'm just saying we are products of the things that we consume. And for me, finding artists that I really like unlocked something within me where I was saying, wow, they're saying things that I always kind of held within me, but I never really knew how to say them. But now I feel inspired to also speak about these issues in the same way. So I think inspiration is great.
That's awesome. That's really, really awesome. Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I could easily echo what Brandon and Gabby were talking about. I mean, I've been doing improv for a long time, but I think about when I started in high school and how much of my comedy was essentially Who's Line or SNL bits that I basically stolen. Um, but you kind of get like the feel for what it is you like and do and like what lands for you, and you kind of develop it. And improv is such a great uh, art form for me to do that, because in a way I get to write, act, and direct a little bit without having to put in all that time.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Brenan?
Yeah, I think I've arrived at a point in my creative career where I don't think too much about my voice in terms of developing my style these days. And partially that's because I've spent a really long time with a lot of people like hounding you. Well, what's your voice? What's your like individual, like, it's like apparently really important to people that you are unlike anyone else in the world, which is weird. Um, but I think, yeah, I've just stopped kind of worrying about it because I'm like, well, if it comes out of me, it's my voice. Yes, absolutely. All the influences that come in and all the work influences that and like shapes it and blah, blah, blah. But it's kind of like, I remember an acting teacher once said to me, like, no matter what character you're playing, you're still you. Like, you are still Brenan. Your body, your soul, your mind is still there and you're channeling something else. So I've reached a point where it's really freeing for me to just put a lot of faith that what I put out there, as long as it's from kind of a, oh my God, I hate I'm about to use this word, authentic place within myself, that's going to be a whole different Bindle topic, authenticity. You know what I mean? But
No, you're right. You're right. Well, then you'll hate what I'm about to talking about. So no, but players, a lot of what you had to say, like it's funny because like it really makes me think of it in some of it really, like what you said really resonated with me. Your voice is always changing based on so many different things, based on like your knowledge, the things that you have learned, seen, consumed, and your technique at the same time, your skills. And those three kind of things, they work so tandem, but they both kind of feed into, for me anyways, in my work as like a performance artist or a writer, or like even when I'm doing like political work, like voice is the manifestation of those two things. And it does have to tap, for me it does, like it taps into, that's what makes it authentic, is that it's the synthesizing of both of those things coming out of you in the way that only you could do it. So thank you very much, players. This is very, very exciting. We shall see you later on in the night after our guests. So everybody say bye-bye, players.
Bye.
All right, let's move on to our first guest of the night. Our first guest of the night is a visual artist who I've known for some time now. Please show some love for artist Amy Wise.
Hello.
Hello, Amy. Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good, Tony. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, considering that I've been trapped in this one-bedroom apartment for like a year and some change now, but I'm doing pretty good. So I have gotten the privilege to be able to have seen some of your work now. But for those at home who don't know you or your work, why don't you tell everyone about what you do?
Sure. I am a visual artist. I work in a variety of mediums. So I guess, that's under the umbrella of painting. So I would say I'm a painter, but because I work in a variety of mediums and the medium isn't typically like the most important part of my work, I just, I make visual art. But my artwork uh, kind of centers around the idea of memory. And depending on the series, I've done a series more, um, I guess, just more surrounding social media and the internet selfie. And I paint portraits based on that.
I find your work extremely exciting. I think it's so captivating, and I'm so excited to share it with our audience. Shall we take a look at some?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So let's go to this first piece. Boom. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Beachcomber?
Yeah, this piece is called Beachcomber. I painted this when I first moved to San Francisco. I'm from LA, and I moved up to San Francisco in 2014 to uh, finish my bachelor's degree. And so I made this painting like within the first 6 months of me living there. And so I was already thinking about my work in terms of memory. And so this piece is obviously a self-portrait, but I have these abstractions these color blocked abstractions in the atmosphere of the piece, which are like these architectural elements that I kind of color blocked in the atmosphere of the composition. And what they are basically these like uh, architectural elements of the places that I would frequent. So the blue blocks on the side are the countertops of the laundromat that I used to do my laundry at. The weird like zebra stripes in the lower corner where are my the pattern that was on my comforter. There are trees in the background of the park I used to walk in. So there are just these little kind of like snippet forms that I would see on my daily basis, and I made them more abstract to just represent that memory. The details of our memory are constantly fading as time goes on, and inserting myself into these abstractions are kind of a representation of how life then felt like it wasn't real, because I kind of hit the ground running with school and work right when I moved to San Francisco. And so things were happening so fast, and everything felt kind of fleeting. And before I had time to really even notice a lot of things that were happening. And looking at this piece now just brings a lot of personal nostalgia, which I think it enriches the artwork for me personally.
Wow, that's amazing, and that's like so beautifully put about like about memory and the exploration of that all together on in the piece. It's funny because like it's you just from an outside perspective you're just like, oh, they're just sort of abstract architectural pieces to the painting, but hearing you like specifically name each of them is so fascinating. Just like it really just opens it up that much more. Amazing. Shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it. This is our next piece.
Yeah, this is selfie sequence 1. This was a painting I did probably a couple years, 2015. No, actually, this was exactly a year later. So I started thinking about still dealing with memory. I started thinking more about how, you know, the social media kind of messes with that, with our memory. And also at the same time, thinking about the painted portrait and how that is relevant historically. Um, and so I was really interested in the selfie as a self-portrait and how the internet selfie is a kind of a representation of us. It's a virtualized version of us, not necessarily the real us. It's our second self. And so the reason I say it's not really us is because our selfies are often edited to edited to seem more to make us seem more attractive or sophisticated, more cultured or more interesting than we actually are, or maybe that more than we give ourselves credit for.
Hmm.
So thinking of that, and historically, when you know, people commissioned painters and artists to paint a portrait of them, they were also highly curated images to make someone seem more wealthy or more intelligent, just based on the symbolism that was added into the painted portrait, and also physical features. So there was a lot of editing, and when there was a commissioned portrait, um, and so I'm thinking of that and how me painting someone else's selfie that they post on the internet is kind of like the modern um, way to kind of sit with someone or interact with someone on a daily basis, really. But painting those portraits or those selfies is kind of just another step, um, and it's also kind of giving me that uh, intimate experience with that person, and getting to know them better, getting to know what they value based on maybe what they're wearing or how they're presenting themselves. And it's a step away from sitting with someone in person and painting their portrait, but it's also just a sign of modern times. So this is the first piece of this series that I did, and I wanted to fragment it so that her eyes are below the rest of her face. So this idea kind of just the composition was mainly to represent the kind of the distorted image that we see when we're just like flying through our Instagram feeds, or any internet feed. And I know our brains naturally are kind of wired to notice faces and eyes. So I really wanted to make sure that those parts of the painting were rendered. And then also the weird kind of like just like the odd like little parts of the image, like the little skull tattoo on the shoulder, really popped out at me. So I wanted to make sure that that was included in the painting. Um, yeah, I didn't want it to be completely perfectly rendered. I just wanted to kind of have like a snapshot of that like initial, just like zooming through the Instagram feed.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the first thing that like really comes to mind. Is just when you're just like speed scrolling through any social media app, like you're just catching like fragments of it. And it just like, that's the first thing that immediately just like bam pops out. Is it's so funny that like you bring up, our brains are hardwired to see faces and eyes first, and like the work in all of your work, the eyes are just like such an like an immediate attention grabber, and that you've put so much detail into them. Really, really incredible stuff. Let's keep rolling. Let's go to the third piece.
Okay, so this is a detail of a much larger piece that I did. I just cropped this because it was a little easier to see visually. This is about maybe 3 feet. The initial painting is 10 feet tall. So this is about 3 feet of it, of like the center of the painting. But again, it's another fragmented selfie that I kind of chopped up even more. I was getting really wrapped up into those like weird, obscure, like visual things that we maybe don't notice, but our brain can pick up these little symbols, like the little like heart or like the loading arrow. This was actually, I think these little symbols are actually outdated now. Instagram doesn't really show those like loading arrows anymore, I don't think. But so I was starting to think more, kind of dig more deep into the social media idea and how, that relates to memory. And so I was thinking about social media as, Instagram is kind of our external memory bank, and in which we're constantly uploading our memories, things we want to remember, versions of ourselves in a certain place or time. And so you have this, this feed that contains all of these memories that you have access to at any time or place. And so does everyone else who follows you. So you're kind of vulnerable to scrutiny and just being seen all the time. So I've, in art school, I was also reading a lot of philosophy and theory at the time. So I was kind of really digging a little deep when it came to this concept of like the looking glass self and all of that. And I was reading this essay by this woman named Amber Clace, and she is a self-proclaimed cyborg anthropologist. And so she talks about the internet as she used this term called technosocial wormhole, which I thought was really a really cool term, but also really interesting in thinking about social media and just like modern technology, mobile technology as this like means to time travel or to teleport. And so, you can relive those moments and those memories and at any time. And you have the ability to interact with people through the means of social media. Even when they're not at their screen, you can still leave a comment or post on their page, whatever. And so she does go on to say that like we are quite literally cyborgs in this respect, because it is quite literally the contemporary human experience that involves mobile technology, and we're cyborgs because we look at screens all day. They're extensions to our psychology and quite literally are extensions to our bodies. And without our mobile devices, we kind of feel incapacitated sometimes. I think everyone's felt that weird horror of losing their phone.
Mhm.
And
Like
it's
for me, like my internet went out like 2 weeks ago, and like there was a hot solid second there where like me and my partner in my apartment were like, what are we going to do right now?
yeah, it's so weird. Like you don't realize it until it actually happens to you, how uncomfortable that is. And like what would you actually do without that thing? Because the whole world is in your pocket when you have your phone, and when it's gone, you don't know anyone's phone number anymore. Um, you feel cut off from society. It's really bizarre.
We've got definitely a fan of yours in in the chat here. Lady Sorrow on Twitch says 10 feet that she'd love to see it in person. Do you display your work in galleries, or maybe at some point once this pandemic is all over or something?
Yeah, I mean, I don't show very often, but when I do, I'm up for the opportunity. This piece I showed, this is actually the final, or one of the final paintings I did while I was in college. So it definitely was shown in a gallery. It was kind of a pain to install, but I had plexiglass over the top of it, and for that reason, I wanted the viewers to be able to see their reflection in the painting as they were viewing it. But yeah, I would. This thing is tucked away in my garage. I would love to bust it out again and show it again. So I don't know when that will happen, but
Well, you just let us know, and we will.
yeah, it's the
we'll let
full
everybody-
thing is on my website, which
Amazing.
we'll share later. I'm sure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We have just a couple minutes, so I do want to go to the final piece that you're
Yeah.
sharing today. Let's see here. Let's go to this fourth piece.
Okay, so this is the last 2 or 3, I guess, paintings leading up to this one. So I kind of dialed back a bit, or kind of just like kind of let go of the the weird Instagram symbols and stuff, and I kind of really wanted to start focusing on like personal relationships. So this is a portrait of my sister and I. We weren't living with each other um, during this time, and we still live very far away from each other. And so I kind of wanted to do these like double shuffled portraits. And so I wanted to blend my sister and I, who, for the first time in our entire lives, we're just living very far away from each other. And I was away from my dogs, which is also, our dog Stella is also um, portrayed here in the bottom half of the painting. So this is actually the shot of me. Up here is me painting in my studio at school in San Francisco. And then the picture of my sister is on the lower half where she's home. And she must have been in Southern California still, but she now lives in Missouri. So we're even further away from each other now. But yeah, I really wanted to like dial it back into like memory and personal relationships and connections, and how social media is just kind of this weird phenomenon that connects people. And it's like thinking about like time travel and teleportation, and how we're able to kind of in a hypothetical sense like do that through social media. And so this piece was a diptych, or one half of a diptych. So I had another piece that was right next to it of my friend and his girlfriend who had passed away a few years prior. And so that had me thinking a lot about what happens to our online internet selves when we pass away, and it's like something that we don't really think about. And even though a person may be gone from the physical world, um, we can still attempt to connect to them in the virtual world.
Mm.
And social media kind of creates this curtain that separates us from our immediate reality, but it's also this portal that connects us to those who are not immediately with us.
Yeah, I mean, amazing and beautifully put. What I love about this piece is the sort of the contrast where like we're the focus. Some of it is like very, very focused. Some of it is just slightly distorted, and like the playing of that going back and forth between the two just makes it really striking.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, Amy. So a couple of questions before we have to go, because we do have to, but tying back into like our main kind of topic for the night and our main theme, what role would you say that your voice plays in creating and generating work?
Well, always being a shy kid, I never really thought of myself like having a really important voice growing up until maybe I was starting to have my artwork recognized. And uh, a dear friend once told me, and this is kind of a quote that um, echoes in my head still to this day, is make the most personal work possible. And I feel like that really changed the game when it came to making my work, because I feel like for the longest time I was trying to be something that I wasn't, and make work that wasn't really close to me or that I really cared deeply about. And so I think trusting my voice and my interests and just going with what I feel is right for me, and making the art that I want to see um, is very important. And so I think that really comes, and I feel like a lot of people can um, detect uh, like they can detect just work that isn't, true, or if it's following a trend. I feel like the most personal work is the most interesting work, and so that's something that's kind of my mantra when I go forward with any project.
I would completely agree with you that the more personal the work is, for me, the more interesting it is, the more like the more I think the more relatable it is, as far as like art is speaking human to human contact. That's what it's what a big part of it is. So that's incredible. So before we let you go, can you tell our audience where can they find more of your work if they want more of your work?
Well, I have a website, amywise.net. It's just my first and last name.net. And you can find me on Instagram at Venus_boy. Those are two places you can find me. I post whatever I'm currently working on there. And I have all my contact info there if you are interested in any commissions or any other professional inquiries.
Amazing.
I am open.
Amazing. Amy, thank you so much for being on the show. I love your work, and I appreciate you taking the time to share it with us tonight.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. All right. Give some love in the comments section. One more time for Amy Wise. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, that was awesome. We just want to remind you out there who are tuning in that we do still raise donations. All these shows that we produce every Friday and Saturday night are possible because of you. So if you want to make a donation to us, just head to Venmo, send those donations into @FancyHoboImprov. And we appreciate everything that you can donate. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe this video. Let's move on to our next guest. Our next guest is the frontman, instrumentalist, and composer for the band My Boyfriend, aiming to perpetuate the spirit, playfulness, and humor of American popular music at its best. Please show some love for John Paul Arciniega.
Hey Tony, how you doing?
John Paul, it is great to see you, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? It's great to see you too.
I'm good. I am good. You know, I'm doing all right, all things considered. I have gotten a chance to meet you and go to school with you and be in person, but for people at home who may not know what it is that you do, why don't you go and tell everybody at home what you do?
All right, so I am one half of the rock band My Boyfriend, alongside my brother who plays the drums. I am the principal songwriter, producer, and arranger for all of the My Boyfriend albums. We've recorded 3 albums, 10 songs each, and we are particularly inspired by oldies, in particular, Black and Chicano music, rhythm and blues and soul music of the 1950s and 60s.
That's amazing, and I love the 50s and 60s vibe that the album have. The album is called The Vegetable Loser. Where does that come from?
Yes, and as you can see, I have a Vegetable Loser print up here above my head
awesome.
that my partner printed and was actually the art director for the album cover. The Vegetable Loser came from a dream, and I know that might sound like some cliche that any
that sounds awesome
rock band would say, but I heard just that phrase in a dream, and I just thought it kind of summed up our ethos, because we like health food, and we're losers.
That's amazing. Oh, that's amazing. Well, we are gonna take a look at a music video. Do you want to set that up for us?
Sure. So this is a single off of our latest album, The Vegetable Loser, called I Hate to See You Cry. It's a very slow ballad. I was kind of really inspired by some old Korean ballads, actually. And in addition, we were inspired. My partner directed the music video, and she was very much inspired by an old BBC video of James Taylor performing Fire and Rain, where it's just him and his guitar on one of those stages with a multicam setup. It was filmed at my grandfather's house in Southgate, which is a tiny little industrial city in Southeast LA, which is where my mother.
I know Southgate.
Southgate. Yes.
I was born and raised in Downey, so.
Oh, great. So my mother was born and raised in Southgate. Her father is 5th generation Mexican American, and her mother is Irish Catholic. So she grew up there in Southgate in that little home, and it was never renovated, never touched. So everything in the house was still original. The sync, the microwave, it all was straight from the 60s. It looked like a set. So, and they were selling the house. So we thought, what a great way to honor the home and to create some music inside of it.
Oh, that is awesome to hear. All right, well, why don't we take a look at it, shall we?
All right.
All right, let me set this up here.
We seem to argue every week because I don't think when I speak. But don't let that keep you from my arms. Try to remember all my charms. Being with you is not a chore. How could I love you anymore? Well, there's nothing I'd rather erase than the discomfort on your face. It pains me when you say goodbye. That makes me wanna go and die. Well, I hate to see you cry. I'm used to living selfishly, with no responsibilities. Well, I told you I'd clean up my act. That was no ordinary path. It hurts when you call me aloof, and when you say you need more proof. But there's nothing I would rather do than give a ton of joy to you. It pains me when you say goodbye. That makes me wanna go and die.
Amazing, amazing. Let me do this. Wow, John Paul, the album is so good. The whole album is so good. I listened to it. I love the video. I love the aesthetic of the video. You like the people in the chat love the video too. People saying that it's beautiful. They loved it. They love the vintage style and feel to it. It like just those shots of the houses, like initial setup shots of the house, reminds me of my own grandma's house. You know,
Yes.
like it's so awesome. My favorite track off of the album that I listened to so far is Sexy Ghost. I love Sexy Ghost. And do you write all the music for it?
Yes, I do. And it's so funny to hear you say that because that's our least favorite track on the album. My brother told me that we should have cut that one off the album. He hated it so much.
Oh no, I loved it. I love the drums in it. I thought it was awesome.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Yes, I do write all the music. I do write all the music.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You're talented man. Tying back into tonight's theme, I guess. And it would be interesting to hear what you say. What role does your voice play in creating and generating your work? I mean, obviously, like your literal voice takes a big part of creating your work. But yeah, feel free to elaborate.
Well, my literal voice, I've always felt a little bit insecure about. I think if you go back and listen to our first album, my vocals were one of the weaker points of the album. But I would say that it's improved quite a bit in the second album. And this third album, I was actually very happy with my vocal performance. In terms of my metaphorical voice, I can say that I think that my brother and I are very self-assured. I think we're very confident. We know what we like. We know what our sound is. You know, I think that there's not any fear when it comes to us working together. I think we know that the music is always going to be good. And, you know, we just like to have a lot of fun. Although I may sometimes feel a little bit unsure of my direction personally, I think that I don't ever doubt the quality of the music.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I like as I don't as a I guess a fellow songwriter, because I'm a songwriter and a lead singer of a band myself. Yeah, and but like I feel you on the, particularly when you get to work off that on that first album, there's so many like there's so it feels in general like you always feel insecure about that work when you first release it, because you're like, God, it just like is it good? Like the first album that I did with my band, it sounded like a greatest hits compilation. We were like, let's just do this and this and this and this and this, and then like through the refinement of that, finally we started putting out more work, and like the work just becomes like, no, I want to do what I want to do, not like try to be marketable or do anything like that. And I think there's lots of like ownership in finding that, particularly with music.
Yes. Were you gonna say something? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, well, you know, I was a lot younger when we made that first album, you know, so looking back and hearing music that I wrote and recorded when I was 18, 19, you know, I'm almost 25 now, so it's been a long time. So it's a nice, it's been a steady progression. I think we're only getting better as we go along.
Amazing. No, yeah, and like the album sounds incredible. Like everything, every part of it, I love it. I've consumed it already. So amazing. John Paul, before we move on, like if our audience wanted to find more of your work, where would they be able to do that?
Well, Um, I would encourage the audience to listen to our music on Bandcamp by clicking My Boyfriend. That's myboyfriend.bandcamp.com. And I would encourage them to buy The Vegetable Loser. And the only reason I say that is because I'm sure you might be aware that
I already know what you're going to say before you say it.
over the Thanksgiving holiday, there was a very violent eviction by the California Highway Patrol in El Sereno. They evicted these vacant homes. And so there's a movement in El Sereno called Reclaiming Our Homes movement. I don't know if you know, but Caltrans owns all these vacant properties in that area. So what the reclaimers are trying to do is to collectivize these homes to house people during the pandemic. So what we did is we decided to donate all of the album funds to the reclaimers. So normally I wouldn't care, you want to stream it on Spotify, whatever, but I would really encourage you to listen to the album on Bandcamp and to purchase it so we can get more funds to them.
Oh, wow. That John Paul, that's awesome. First of all, I didn't know you were doing that. I thought you were going to talk shit on Spotify. And I was like, dude, I could talk shit on Spotify all day.
Well, I would love to do that too.
Yeah. That's a whole nother interview, man.
Yes.
But that's incredible that you do that. So yeah, definitely. Everybody out there who's watching this right now, head to My Boyfriend's Bandcamp. The link is should be at the bottom of this video in the details. Head there, buy that album, and let's support an artist for a great cause. John Paul, my man, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you, Tony. It's been a pleasure. I want to thank you so much.
I appreciate you sharing your work and your process. Don't be a stranger.
All right, sounds good. We'll be in touch, Tony.
All right, everybody give it up. Show some love for John Paul in the comments of the band My Boyfriend. John Paul, thank you for joining us. Whew, what an awesome show so far. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will be back with our next guest and some improv. So stay tuned right after this. We'll see you in a bit.
Enter a realm unlike your own, filled with beauty and splendor, with magic and mystery, with evil and danger, with secrets and glory. Welcome to the world of hazards and hijinks.
The Cool Adventurers!
Despite my really calm, serene exterior, I'm a very angry person.
If the cool leather boot fits, I'll wear it.
I'm a cat person! You can't
And
judge
I'm
me!
a wizard who drinks paint! We are who we are!
You will know what it is to feel pain.
Hey guys, we just were upstairs in the gas chamber.
Movement detected. Destroy intruder. Destroy
God.
intruder.
Sorry, I was living up to my own hype!
I feel younger than ever.
Huzzah!
Hazards and Hijinks, D&D Improv, every Friday night on YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah, thank you
Now
for having me
I've
on the
had-
show.
Oh, of course. Thank you for being here. Now I have had the opportunity to work with you, but not everyone might know what it is that you do. So why don't you tell everyone at home about your work?
So I actually have a hard time sort of giving myself a really specific label because I dance all over the place. But I am a director, writer. I like to direct my own work. And I also do a lot of voice acting and on-screen acting. As of right now, I've been focusing on making fiction podcasts, which was actually sort of inspired by a more financial move. Because I would love to work in animation, but those who have ever worked in animation know it is a very expensive field to go into, and very difficult to fund by yourself as an independent artist. And so I wanted to keep making art, especially during like a pandemic. And so I was trying to figure out different ways to continue making art, and podcasts were kind of a very financially accessible one. And then when the pandemic hit, I was like, well, this was a good plan because now I can just have everyone record at home and it's not weird. As when you're trying to like, whenever you've seen a movie and you can tell the actors aren't in the same room, but like are trying to act off each other.
That what was it, like the 5th season of Arrested Development, and then where none of them
Yeah.
together like that?
Yeah, which can be hilarious in its own right, but you can always sense that they're not in the same room.
Oh yeah.
Especially when they can't like be in the same shot. You're just like, why don't they like do anything near each other? That's why. But so for me, podcasting has been sort of my keeping myself in the game and being like, hey everyone, look at what I can do. And so that's what I've been working on right now. You are in my current podcast, which is Georgia Romero is Done For.
Yes,
I
yes,
also
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, you play Tony.
I do. I know. I do. I was gonna ask you to tell them what I play, but
You play Tony. Tony is Tony, which was always fun to say whenever we were like doing the credits. Who is kind of the series bully. Which you did a great job. Like you brought so much life to him, and I think we had you in a room screaming the word "bam" for like 10 minutes.
So it was something like that.
Yeah.
Definitely like Heavy Emerald vibes are what my memories pull from that.
Because he was so proud of like he'd gotten what he thought was a sick burn, and so he was just so proud of himself, and it was not the sick burn he believed. I'm also working on another podcast that will be released in the future, which is The Soft-Boiled Detective. A very different genre, because Georgia Romero is Done For is a horror comedy about a zombie who comes back to life with no memory of her past. And she's trying to solve the mystery of like not just how she died, but who she is. Like she has no memory of who she even is as a person. And so she's like, what did I like to do when I was alive? Because I wanted to play with this idea of like what would happen to you if every memory got wiped out. You know? Is that on?
That was on my end. There's like, every once in a while, I've just been playing John Paul's music so much.
Oh yeah, that's totally fine. Honestly, I was just scared that my computer was doing it, and I'm like, I don't know how or why.
No, that's me. Great. So speaking of like noises, you want to take a listen to?
Yeah, this is one of the special episodes we did during our editing breaks while we were editing the next episode.
Amazing. So let's take a listen.
Georgie, could I get a mocha wicciccino with a triple decaf shot of espresso with almond milk?
Uh-huh.
And the dandelion biscuits, please?
Uh-huh.
Make sure you grab the vegan ones.
Huh.
Georgie, are you listening?
Huh?
You keep staring at Valentina? The vampire?
She comes in here every morning for blood pancakes.
Oh, I've heard the local vampires rave about those.
I get so tongue-tied whenever I try to talk to her.
Did she place a curse on you? I thought she'd have matured a bit in her 100th year.
She's so pretty.
Oh, this is a crush thing.
I don't have a crush. I just want to spend time with her and hold her hand and watch romance movies with her. I don't even like romance movies.
Don't worry, I have an answer for this. Hey, Valentina, my friend likes you. Would you like to go on a date with her on a day that is convenient for both parties? You being the both parties. By the way, I will not be present since I don't think I would enjoy it.
Isabel, what is wrong with you?
I'm helping.
No, you're not helping. You're embarrassing the heck out of me.
Oh, hi, Val.
Isabel. And you're Georgie, right? Here. Call me.
Thank you.
Aww. Now, Georgie, I have a meeting really soon, so I gotta rush. I need that wicciccino before I go. Let's skip on the biscuits today. Georgie? Georgie?
Awesome. So I I love this clip. It's like it's funny, it's like really sweet. I think. And I mean I love that, like anything that's like mildly spooky.
Yeah.
So it's like right up my alley. Amazing. Are you is this gonna keep going on?
It's going to be 2 seasons. We're in the middle of production on season 2. And then we're wrapping up the mystery of how she died. And I don't want to get too much into what she learns because it's spoilers, but we do learn what happened to her and she gets more information and she learns more about her place in the world now that she's a zombie and can't go back to being a human. Because as of right now, monsters and humans are very much in their own separate worlds. Like humans do not know monsters exist. And Georgie is in this like kind of sort of sad situation where her mother is still alive and in the nearby human town, but like she can't just go talk to her because that would sort of ruin the whole balance between the monsters and humans. As human monsters went into like I believe they call it like the great disappearance, where monsters decided to go back into hiding.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I mean, relating back to tonight's kind of theme, we've been talking about your voice, where and what role that has in creating and generating work. As a voice actor, you know, it's literally in there, but as the writer of the piece, you know, it's you want to talk a little bit about your voice and what role it has in your work?
Yeah, that's always kind of the big question, I think, in the arts, is what exactly that means. And everyone will say something different, and sometimes people will give you a very vague answer. And you know, I remember when I got into grad school, I asked one of my professors, I was like, what made you guys want me here? And one of the things, like, oh, it was your voice. And I, to this day, don't know what that specifically meant. I knew it was a good thing. I just was like, all right, because I am very comedy driven, but I also like to make sure that it's not just slapstick silliness, that there's actually something emotional to latch onto. And I guess what I learned is that things become more universally appealing with specificity. Because it feels like it should be the opposite, where if you make it more broad, but that's not true. The more something is specific to your lived experience, the more people relate to it. Even in like sort of ways you might not expect. Like the story is, Georgie Romero is Done For is about a zombie coming back to life. And that's not really something any of us have really gone through to my knowledge. But that idea of your sense of self and the impact that trauma may have on your personality is something we all sort of wrestle with and question, like, who would I have been had I not been like bullied in high school? Like, who would I have been had I, not had to deal with certain types of trauma? Because that does build your personality. And then with Georgie, that's just wiped clean. The slate is wiped clean. So it's sort of this question of like, how does she compare to her former self, and what does that mean to her? And I do carry my own personal thoughts and feelings into each story, which I think is important to keep things engaging. If I just was like, I just want to write a goofy show where nothing happens. Yeah, you can start with that as your springboard. But even if you look at something like Seinfeld, where the idea was, it's a show about nothing, but then you really stop and think about it, and I'm like, it's not though. It's about their lived experiences. Like the Soup Nazi episode was just like based on a dude they knew in New York. And even though I've never experienced the Soup Nazi, I can understand like the humor of it, and the specificity is what made it so funny.
Right. Even if we don't have like a personal experience of it, like as long as it's like those kind of experiences that they're created on are honest, like they still resonate with the audience. The audience still like connects to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's I mean, that's like, it's you've got such a, it's great to hear, because I think something that makes Georgie special is like the heart to the piece.
Yeah.
So like that's great to hear you
Thank
talk
you.
about that. Yeah.
And with the upcoming show, The Soft-Boiled Detective, it was a show I actually created with my boyfriend. And the springboard was us just making really goofy voices at each other. And then we were like, what if this was like actual characters and like had a story? And now there's a whole story to it, and there's like emotional weight to it. And it just started because we decided to do fun, because we're both voice actors. So we were both just doing whatever voices and interacting with each other. And
that is awesome. That is awesome. I can't wait to tune in to that as soon as it's released. In the meantime, before that's released, where would people be able to find more of your work?
Well, our podcast is on iTunes, it's on Spotify, it's on Stitcher. We're on all of the big ones. Those are the main ones coming to mind, but you can just look up Georgie Romero is Done For. It's also, if you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at Romero is Done For. If you want to follow along with the Soft-Boiled Detective for updates, we do have a Twitter for that, which is at Soft-Boiled Detective, but detective is shortened to just DET. And you'll be getting, like, we'll start updating that once we have more things attached to it. But like, yeah, you could just go to Spotify or iTunes and type in Georgie Romero is Done For, and it should pop right up.
Amazing. Awesome. Kat, thank you so much for coming to tonight's show. I am looking forward to the next time that we get a chance to work together.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Already have my resume.
Yeah.
So thank you again. Those audience members, those watching at home, give it up in the chat, and a nice little round of applause for writer, actor, director, Kat Walker Shea.
Thank you so much. This was great.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you.
All right. What an awesome night of checking out different mediums of art and listening directly to the artists. Every single one of our artists is linked in the details of this video below. Check it out. If not, it is also on like our Facebook. You can go there and you can check out the event page. So it's got it all listed on there as well, but it should be at the bottom of the video as well. All right, I am going to ask for my improvisers to get back in here. Let's get our improvisers in here. There's Gabi, there's Brenan, there's Brenan, and there is Matt. Awesome. So now what's going to happen is we are going to create some long form improv inspired by everything that we saw tonight. And players, you know what I saw a lot of was playing with memory and time is what I saw a lot of tonight, whether it was that conversation that Kat just had with me, or talking about Amy and her exploration of memory, the house, sort of this like time capsule all there together. That's what I saw a lot of, memory and time. What did you see?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting that Amy had brought up time travel, and then we kind of time traveled literally throughout. We went to the 50s, and then we had a vampire that was alive for 100 years. So I felt like I was time traveling with all of them.
And I think too, like there was this interesting thing of like the separation from memory as well, like the fragmentation, both like in social media and the distance of it. Like in the song where he's talking about like wanting to be better from what he did in the past, that like realization and that constant evolving of how memories affect you.
I was just really impressed at how all of it, like Amy's themes and stuff, all just were explored further by the next guests. I mean, without her here, I feel like it'd be harder to connect the two. But like, she's talking about time travel and memories and kind of exploring that with like, oh, going back to an older style of music and like bringing something new to it, or like doing a whole podcast on just the idea of like what it'd be like to not have your memories. It was just kind of crazy to me, and it'd be interesting, like in my head, to just think about like what it would be like if you didn't have memories and you stumbled on your social media. You know, like to learn about yourself through that is really like mind-blowing to me.
Brenan?
Yeah, I'm really resonating with what everyone else is throwing out there. You know, I clocked the memory and the time and the associations also of nostalgia with it. And you know, that doesn't clock across all the projects, but maybe a little bit with the creators. Like there's a reason that we create things that resonate with us. There's projects that were shared, I think, that that spoke to tenderness associated with memory and time. You know, obviously zombies, maybe not as tender, but the fact that it's presented with humor, I think is like, it's a light touch on what could be like a really dark, deep thing, which is, you know, the trauma, as Kat mentioned, the trauma of like, who would I be with these experiences? How is my life different if I don't remember those experiences? Like, it's really heavy stuff. So then to treat it with enough care to be able to approach it, I think is a form of tenderness.
Well, it's interesting. On that, like the way that you can paint your own history in whatever brush you are artistically, whether it is like a comedic way, you do like a podcast or the music or whatever, like the way you can take an event, like a fragment of a lived experience and manifest it in a different way, but its core is something that's so deeply personal. It's interesting to kind of see that how it was changed and evolved in the different art.
The deeply personal makes me think of the brain.
Ooh, the brain makes me think of senses, like sight, smell, touch, taste.
Taste is visceral.
Visceral makes me think of muscles.
Muscles makes me think of the gym.
The gym makes me think of sadness.
Oh, sadness. Rain.
Rain, funeral.
Funeral, melancholy.
Melancholy, blue.
Blue. The only thing I think of is baseball ever. I think of blue.
So there was like I think it was like 2 years ago now that I went to San Diego with my partner's family, and I'd never been to San Diego, and they were great. They were already there, but they drove all the way up to LA to pick me up, and then we drove all the way back down. They're just people that like to drive, so that was crazy. But they wanted to go to a Padres game, and I had never been to a baseball game. I might have seen like one in high school, but that was like not my thing. I didn't like baseball. I thought it was super boring. I wouldn't watch it on TV, maybe the World Series, but that was about it. So I was like, okay, you know, they're into sports. I'll go, I'll see the Padres play. And I ended up going, and I had the best time because turns out they sell, I have a cat back there. They sell hot dogs and pretzels, which are the key to my heart. And so I just snacked and watched a fun game with like some of my favorite people, and it was great. And I feel like this really makes me think of nostalgia, and baseball was something that was important to them their whole lives, and now it's something that I reminisce on. And honestly, it's someplace I'd like to be right now because we're trapped inside.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
I'm not a big fan, you know?
I know. Some people think it's a little dirty. Some people think it's a little creepy, but you, my friend, this is my favorite. It's my favorite place.
It's just so loud. Like, I don't know how you can even like think when you're in there.
Well, you could put on headphones, or you could, you know, just like zen out. I don't know. I kind of like the whir.
A whir?
Yeah, like a.
I don't know how you're supposed to zen out when everyone's just shouting about like whatever point was scored.
It's gonna be great. This is a state-of-the-art arena. I have invested in these season tickets, and let me tell you, it would mean a lot to me for, you know, our friendship, for you to come.
All right, fine. Look, I love you, and I want to spend more time with you. So, if it means sitting there and try not to freak out, yeah, okay, sure.
Okay, so a couple rules. We are in the cheering section, so you have to wear green, and you have to stand the whole time. There are some chants. I will teach them to you.
I'm sorry. I'm not. You know, I'm not great with memorization, and
It's great. How many? Oh,
how many chants?
You know, there's about 10 that kind of rotate through.
Okay.
Listen, you got this. A lot of them are call and response.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know why I'm so freaked out about this, but like I'm genuinely scared.
Yeah. It's gonna be okay. And I kind of feel like if we go and you see that it's fun, it's gonna like cure you of this sort of irrational fear of soccer games, you know?
I get you're trying to like cure me of my like anxiety or whatever, but I feel like throwing me into the deep end in a soccer game is like a little much. Like, can we start like pee-wee and move our way up? Like, I feel like there's a scale that we can go on, you know?
Yeah. My season tickets happen to be in the cheering section, but we could get you a general admission ticket if you want. Like sit up further in the stands.
If that's okay. If that I don't want to like infringe upon what you've got, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like I apologize. I want to be I want to be there.
Don't apologize. Nothing's happened. There's nothing wrong here. I'm just trying to share some of my love with you. And I want you to be able to share something back someday. And like,
Who wants to date me?
Uh, I mean, sure, I guess.
Okay, I mean, I buy you and make you live forever.
Tempting. That's
Yeah.
tempting.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
wow, that's tempting. I've never been just like handed an offer like that.
sure. I also, you can get food anywhere. You just buy people, and it'll be very yummy.
Ooh, but can I? So do I? Is that like that's my sustenance? Is people?
Yeah, maybe donut here or there.
Okay, all right. I like donuts, and I like people. Do people taste good? I haven't tasted people.
Have you ever had Frito-Lay?
Yeah, yes, I have.
They taste like Fritos.
I'm not really a Frito-Lay kind of person. I'm more of like a kettle cooked jalapeno chip kind of person.
You carry spices.
Okay, all right.
Sprinkle.
I do bring an unusual amount of spices with me everywhere I go. All right, you know what? I'm down. Sure.
All right, chef. So today, your mystery box consisting of human blood, the organ of a lamb, and 12 different spices that we do not have the names of. And now we're judging on what you've created. Jonathan, show us your dish.
Okay. Well, this is obviously a pentagram here drawn in blood. And when you light these candles, it will open a portal to hell.
A portal to hell, you say?
Yeah, I mean, you basically gave me everything I need to make a portal to hell, so that's what I went ahead and made.
All right, well, if you want, you can go ahead and light your dish, see what happens, and we'll see what we taste.
Okay. And, oh, there we go.
All right, so this is the devil incarnate then, I assume?
Yeah, you can kind of peek right in on him there in his home.
Interesting. The flavors I'm getting, it's a lot of pepper. I feel like it's a little bit too spicy for my palate. I enjoy a little bit of sweetness on there. I do enjoy the look of the cavalcade of blood simply seeping into my veins as it removes my soul from my physical body and places it into the eternal flames. I do enjoy that counterbalance, but I just am not seeing, I'm going to be honest, I'm not seeing the other 11 spices.
Right. Yeah. Mostly I was just focused on, bringing, yep. Yeah. It's going to kick in. There's going to be a lot of that. I just wanted to bring hell to you is what I wanted to bring.
And I really see the commitment. I really see you trying to bring out the flavors in the candle. But Jonathan, I feel like your last mystery box was a little bit better.
Yeah, well, you're a host for a demon now. That's their only way into the mortal plane is to jump into a body there. So, I mean, it's going to be pretty cool. People are going to be like, "Oh my God, celebrity chef," and you're going to be like, "Rah."
All right, let's see here. Cyborg 17599, you are online.
Okay, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the nano probes.
Uh-huh.
I'm feeling energized. This feels good.
Yeah, no, it's good. The programming seems really good. You're talking like a normal human.
Yeah, it is pretty good. So far, no glitches. We'll see how it goes. Okay, first task.
All right, take this basketball and shoot it into the hoop that is 600 yards away. Nice. Wow, that is impressive.
Glitch free.
That's impressive. All right. Okay. We're gonna move on to the javelin. Here you go. All right. That is gonna be. You're gonna chuck that. Throw to miles distance. Wow, that is impressive.
Thank you.
Are you feeling any how you doing? I mean, like physically, you're number one. You're the top athlete in the world right now.
Yeah.
Emotionally, how you doing?
I'm very sad.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Like how sad is sad?
Well, it's like if I could take my programming offline, I would.
Oh.
You know,
Oh, I mean, thank God you don't have a choice, right?
no, I have no autonomy.
Woo!
We're heading towards the wormhole.
All right, I'm hearing you loud and clear. If you're just gonna want to press a couple of those buttons, maybe you can evade that capture then.
Okay, I got the green button and the one that says start.
Ooh, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would suggest the green button, but start might work too. Oh,
I just pressed both. What could go wrong?
Oh, I mean, plenty of things. You are in space and heading to a black hole, so things could get a little bit dicey up there for you, friend.
But like, you know, in the movie, sometimes a black hole, it goes into a wormhole and I end up somewhere else and not dead.
I know, but I feel like if I remember correctly, that they did in Interstellar, wasn't that debunked by that Neil deGrasse Tyson dude?
Well, he's not nice to women, so what do we care about his opinion?
That's an excellent point. I can't really argue with that. That's a very good point. Well, how's it looking out there? Is the green button and the start button helping you out? What's going on?
There's some red flashing lights now, and everything's getting really dark.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Red flashing lights, real darkness is probably a bad sign. I have a feeling you are inside of the black hole right now. If I'm looking correctly, that spreadsheet in front of me.
Okay, if you could just give me some Matthew McConaughey words of encouragement right now, I could really use some.
I can give you Owen Wilson level words of encouragement.
That's okay. I'm from Texas. Austin boys are good.
Yeah. All right, give me a quick second. Wow, there, listen, I know that you're in a tricky situation, but gosh darn it, let me tell you, I just think that you are one heck of a good cookie, all right? And look, I'm seeing that little face of yours is a little bit scared, but I believe in you, all right? You hear this voice? I mean, wow, you're in space. You're in a black hole and you're still communicating. That is an achievement. So, hey, take a deep breath, live a little, and just believe that you're going to make it out of this black hole, all right?
I loved you in Cars.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Eve. It's been so long.
This is like a total throwback Thursday.
I mean, I think the last time we saw each other, I mean, it was, you know, at the principal's office when, you know, we were getting bullied and, and so we had to be there.
Yeah. Because you were bullying me. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Good times, you know?
Yeah. I can't help but look fondly at that period of time in our lives.
Things were just simpler, you know? It was like I knew my role and you knew yours.
Yeah. That's actually a really good point because, like, back then, like, I knew where I stood.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't at the top, but I wasn't at the bottom.
No, you were pretty far up there. I mean, from where I was, you looked like you were in a pretty good position.
Oh, yeah. And from where you were, I'm sure that's how it appeared, but I was middle of the pack, to be honest.
Really?
Oh.
So who would you say was like top of the top?
Oh, easily Edward.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
with his like gaggle of girls that just kind of followed him around.
Yeah.
Because you know, really, he bullied me, and then I took that out on you.
There's something about graduating from high school and staying in your hometown where the people you grew up with and they see you, there's a memory shift. I know I've been working in a restaurant for about 5 years, and it's Buffalo Wild Wings, and I'll have people I went to high school with that come back and who were, I mean, mercilessly mean to me or completely just like did not give a human shit about me, who will see me serving and literally be like, oh my God, Brandon, it is so good to see you. I loved being with you in high school. What a great time. I mean, we were such great friends. I loved our time. What are you doing? How's life? And I'll literally sit there and be like, not only do I truly not know who you are, if I do, most of the time, you were horrendous to me. And there's that weird moment of realizing that people whose lives sometimes peak in high school or were like amazing in high school, they're able to look back at the moment fondly and assume everyone looks back at it fondly. And that's so often what I experience where like, I'll finish a conversation and go back and I have to take a second of going, that was someone who laid waste to me when I was 14, 15 years old. And I had to kind of sit there, serve them a beer and listen to them chat about how great our time was together. And I don't think I've never gotten used to it. It's never gotten easy. But I think too often I find myself laughing at the table and going along with the fact that like, it was a great time, really loved it, because all I can think in the back of my head is like, you did that, but maybe I can get your money now because I'm serving you, but maybe you can tip me bigger and you can tip me 25% if you really think that we were friends. And
It sure was fun beating up all those kids.
My God. I mean, you think that gets old, but it doesn't.
It doesn't, and I mean, you can keep doing it for the rest of your life. The kids come on the lawn, and then you throw things at them.
Yeah, no, it never stops. I just, woof, woof, oh boy. And I mean, like, we don't pick on like small kids. I mean, we're talking about teens. We're talking about teens. Let's be serious.
And that's not developmental anymore. They got their frontal lobes. They're fine.
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll see how much frontal lobes they got when we're done with them.
Let's throw rocks next time.
Oh my God, can we do that for our diamond anniversary?
Honey, you know me too well.
Aww.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Beat Your Neighbor! Oh, it's America's favorite game show where two hosts and two guests get together and they beat their neighbor. With us today is Atlanta native Sharon Osborne. Sharon Osborne, give me a big hello.
Hello, it's nice to see y'all.
It's a pleasure to see you. And our neighbor to Sharon, it is Glenn Forrester. Glenn, are you feeling good?
I'm feeling pretty good, yeah.
Yeah? Well, you better stay feeling good because things are about to get wacky. Who's taking the first swing?
I think that's me.
All right, Sharon, wind it up and let it loose.
Okay, well, what I would like to lob as my first punch is that my neighbor here has let his grass grow up to 10 inches this spring before mowing his lawn.
Ooh, breaking city ordinance. Glenn, any response to that big wallop?
I'm sorry, this is not a literal punch contest?
If you want it to be literal, buddy, go for it. There's literally no rules.
Oh, okay. But it feels bad now if it's just me punching.
The other thing I'd like to say about my neighbor is that he's a coward.
Mm. Oh, man, that's a 1-2 punch. Glenn, anything to say? Any rebuttal, huh?
I feel like we don't know each other well enough for that. I mean, the grass thing makes sense. I don't want to do it.
The third thing I'd like to say about my neighbor is that he's never made an effort to get to know me.
Ooh, Glenn is sitting there, wimpy, poopy face. Does a baby have a big filled diaper? It seems like it smells like it. Oh, pew!
Wait, what does that even mean? What is the baby diaper? Why did you even get into that? What?
The fourth thing that I'd like to say about my neighbor is that he keeps leaving his poopy diaper trash on the street corner for a full 24 hours.
Oh, Glenn, a haymaker from down under, taking out your poopy pants and throwing you into the gutter. Glenn, nothing to say.
So yeah, life after Veggie Tales was really hard. And I don't like talking about it.
Jess, and how did that make you feel?
So, I mean, I was just a little one of the group. I was just some tomato, and they got all the big, tall people talking about life and faith, and you can't keep up when you're just a little round guy.
Yeah. And I know you talked about a lot how you faced a lot more questions being the smaller one and always looking up at the big answers.
You know, and that's when you just got to turn back and say, who am I? Who am I to be teaching this young group of people? Am I a man? Am I a vegetable? And the lines get really blurred.
Of course. Now, you've talked a lot about how your relationship with Larry is fractured since the end of the show. Has it gotten any better since you've reached out?
No, you won't believe the kind of stuff he says. He says, vegetables aren't people. he says people can't relate to vegetables, and I always believed in us, okay? I was the one holding everybody together.
You fought for the proverbial little guy in that conversation.
Of course, what else can you do when you're small?
True.
Do
you find though that in your fight to be seen as human, the possibility to relate, that humans view you as equal, or do you find yourself living in between?
You know, sometimes you just gotta hope. You gotta hope that people see you for who you really are, and that really take in your message, whether they be at, Bible camp or, in their living room with something their mom put on. You just gotta hope that your message reaches out. Because if they don't see me, who does?
All right. That's the last box.
Well,
this place looks different with everything just gone.
Gonna miss it. I think we've had a lot of good times here, in addition to everything else.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm gonna choose. I choose to remember the good times, I guess. And
yeah. I think I will someday. Can't say I'm super happy about it right now.
Look, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, try not to think of it as, how it looks right now. Try to think of it how it used to be, a couple years ago. Kids running through here, pets, happy like holidays and things like that. Try to remember that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that feels blind to me. Yeah. I'm kind of stuck in the I'm just kind of stuck in the goodbye.
For what it's worth, they were good years.
Yeah, I'll call you in another 5, and maybe I'll be with you then.
Okay. Well, we look, just because we're all moved out and this whole process is done doesn't mean that that we've been around for each other for so many years. Like, you're just gonna not call me for 5 years?
No. Wow. Okay. Way to take my words and twist them literally. Wow. I can't believe we're gonna end it on this note. Like, we're gonna fight now. What I meant is that it just might take me a while to get to where you're obviously already at.
Okay. Look, sorry. It's an emotional day.
Peter, babe, the movers are here. We got to be going. All right. Sorry, did I come in at the wrong time?
No.
It's all good. Well, bye.
All right. I will see you later. Here are the keys. Just lock it up when you're done here. Okay.
Will do.
Cool.
Good seeing you again. Wow.
Hi. Uh, I'm not sure where I am.
You're wherever you want to be.
Well, you acted like you knew me. You said, well, 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 when I walked in.
Well, I know everyone a little bit.
Great. If you could just, fill me in a little bit. I can't remember anything since I showed up here. Um, at least nothing personal. But everything feels very old fashioned here. And I'm not sure, like, did I go to a historical town or?
The choices you make in here are your own. This is your new life, it's your last life, and it's whatever you decide it to be.
Am I dead? It feels like I'm having a conversation with like like an angel or something.
I don't like to use the word dead, but to say you've passed on definitely wouldn't be an oversimplification of the phrase.
Oh.
It's all right. It's all right. Hey, take a seat. It's all right. Would you like some water?
Yeah. Do I still need it, or is it just like a comfort thing? I don't know. I've never been dead before. Obviously, you'd know that. But
If you had, I would be very shocked. You don't need anything, my friend. You can choose to want, you can choose to need, or well, you can just choose to be.
I feel like I'm trying really hard to choose to remember everything that's happened to me before, and that's not jarring anything.
You're gonna want to choose to remember for a long time. The longer that you try to, the more those memories are gonna fade.
Wow. I mean, I basically feel like you just told me not to think about polar bears, and I feel like all I can think about now is polar bears. So, um, that seems like a really, not to critique, wherever I am, but that feels like a terrible, horrible system, an unfair system.
Life isn't fair. Death isn't fair. I'm not here to say that the decision that I made to take you now or to take you later was correct, but it is what it is. And I can only say I'm sorry.
Did you design this place? I mean, it looks like my grandma's house, or like a grandma's house.
This is all you, friend.
I picked this place?
We looked into your heart, and we looked into your mind, and we saw a home. We saw the place that when you looked back on it, not only did it make you smile, but it made you cry just a little bit more.
Wouldn't that have more impact if I could remember what this place meant to me?
Maybe. But you've already been here for about 25 years, and in time you forget where you are, so why spend your time trying to remember why this place meant something to you then, and why not make it matter to you now?
I've already been here 25 years, so I've been dead like a long time.
Yeah.
Well, feels like I shouldn't try at all.
Don't try for what happened, all right? I know you want to. I know you want to go back to whatever it was that you came from. But all you can do now, all you can do in this very moment is try for what's in front of you. How about this? Look at me. I want you to try to take a deep breath with me, all right? Just breathe in for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All you got to do is try to be here.
Something's changed.
They changed because you wanted them to.
If I don't think about it, my memories will come back, right? And everything will be cool.
They'll come and they'll go. Then they'll come and go a little bit less. One day they'll just stop coming.
I don't know why, but I feel like I should really look under this cushion on this couch. Oh, wow. It's like an old drawing, like a kid made. This is mine, isn't it?
You tell me, Kevin.
Scene. And that is where we are going to end tonight's show. Thank you so much for tuning into the second episode of the Bindle Variety Show. Thank you so much to all of our improvisers. Thank you to all of our artists. If you are still here, come on in to the Zoom room. I think it's just Kat. Come on in here, Kat. Thank you so much to Amy. Thank you to John Paul. Thank you to Kat. You have all been awesome. It was a pleasure to be able to watch all your work and to be able to hear about your process and everything. Thank you to our improvisers. Thank you to the audience for tuning into tonight's show so much. Thank you so much. The Bindle will, I'm not sure if it'll be back next month, but it will definitely be back the month after that. So I will 100% let you know. I'll let you know, bud. Don't worry about it. We've got a bunch of amazing shows coming up in, what is it next month? March? Jesus, what is time? March, we've got some excellent shows coming up. Every Friday night we have our Dungeons and Dragons show, Hazards and Hijinks. Every Friday night at 8 p.m., a brand new adventure. Come in and check it out. You can even be a part of that adventure. Whoa! And then on Saturday nights, next Saturday, we've got the Fancy Hobo Improv Show, which is our flagship short form show. Come out and check that out. Next month, we'll have another genre show for you. And this month, it's noir. Ooh, I'm so excited about noir. So check out all of those shows and all of our shows in the future every Friday and Saturday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time. I think that's it for me. For Matt Thomas, Brandon Burns, Gabi Galloway, Brenan Dwyer, and all of our guest artists tonight. Have a great night. This is Fancy Hobo. Until next time, signing off. Good night, everybody. Oh boy. That was a good last couple scenes. I love when the show ends like on like a strange note or weird, like a serious note. Like it just starts getting like, it feels like one of the things I love about the show is that like, boom, it's hilarious and it's like big, boisterous. And then like the weight just starts bearing down on the whole show.
I love that last scene was like tonally ambiguous. It had funny stuff. And it had, like, Brandon's character was like, he was serious, but the things he was saying were utter nonsense.
Yes, yeah, exactly.